Ark, better known as Lacy's duo for $40,000, is one of the best fighters in the world. He had the 4th highest eliminations at Globals last year, and he's just dropped a 24 elimination win in the finals of the Solo Victory Cup. So I'm going to jump in and see his fighting and show truly how good it is and break down some of the ways that he does some of the stuff that he does. All right, off the rip, he's a Heatwave Harborman. Everyone knows this is the mythic pump drop spot. It actually got buffed this week as of recording, so after this tournament, there's a guaranteed mythic pump. So I think this is all bosses drop mythic pumps. I don't know if that also means all mini games drop them too. I'm not 100% sure if it's a 100% drop rate from here. I would need to test. But if you didn't know, all of the NPC bosses now drop mythics at 100% spawn rate. So I would imagine this also is. Again, have not tested. Gets an absolutely easy kill. We're going to move on. All right, he's off to do the duck race. It's kind of worth doing this pretty early in the drop spot because you do have to wait for the ducks to... this is a crazy sentence, I was about to say. You got to wait for the ducks to go from there to here. It takes some time, so do with that information as you will. All right, the first real fight. And just something interesting here that I actually think is very important. So he spots this guy. As soon as I pause this, he's behind this sign. There we go. Thank you for moving. He is here. This guy has not seen him yet. Very interestingly is the order, of which he uses items, right? He uses his overdrive grenades before shooting him, right? So imagine he'd sat and sprayed him here to get like 50 damage firstly with that stinger. This range, you're probably not going to do a huge amount of damage. The option then for the other players is to turn and shoot him. But he insta-nades, right? So rather than spraying and then nading, he just insta-nade so that while he's fighting this guy, he's closing the gap. But also, I thought about this the other day. I was like, if you just spray someone first, we'll try to get damage and make a box up, and then you nade on them, you just give them the opportunity to beam you out of the sky. So firstly, by beaming him, by nading and then beaming him, you close the gap and damage at the first time. So actually, genuinely very important piece of information. Then he already gets this nice setup. So he insta-blocks this wall onto the side here to make sure that the other player can't edit out, which is also very nice. He sees this guy popping minis, so he's pretty weak. He's confident enough to go for the double swing, but he's also seen the guy also move over to the left of the box. So like if this guy was going to run out, he'd have to like sprint, edit out this side. It wouldn't be great. So he feels pretty safe to do a double pickaxe here. Sees again, I think he saw the ramp through the wall. So the assumption here is that the other player is going to run out. So it does a really nice job trying to like block that exit, leveling up, doing a little bit of peace. And then nice scroll reset to block the shot. Coden's off, and then does a little doesn't sprint. Does a nice little jump out. There's actually a nice mechanic there I'm gonna go back to. So notice here he blocks his top with a cone and puts a cone in his box, and then he edits out the top. Does not place a floor. A lot of players in this scenario, you have to do like an awkward sprint jump, and a lot of players mess this up. Again, if you've ever watched my videos, when I say a lot of players mess this up, it's me. I messed this one up. So he doesn't place a floor there, and then as he jumps up, he can place the floor to catch himself if he like falls down, but also floor to piece here. So it's like rather than double editing out, he can just jump up and catch himself on the floor. And then just some nice piece control exit here, and then blocks a bunch of exits. However, this exits that he blocks here, so like by spacing a bunch of doubles, of course, he means his opponent can't jump out. He's floored at this side. This cone is his here. So he's basically blocked as many options as he possibly can. And look, this guy tried to do like a little piece out to this side, like he tried to exit out and do something, but he's already blocked here at this side because he spammed doubles and then also gave himself a right-hand peek. And notice he did this in wood, so he's not like wasting hard mats either. So like a lot of really good fighters build in wood. Also, he can tell he's in wood. These are his builds. This guy's using brick. These are his builds. Then sprays onto the wall, gets a little damage through. Big extra places, bottom right 4, bang, dead. So the whole fight from the start, insta-nade rather than spraying, get some damage. Damage numbers are not showing in replays, unfortunately. Kexes the wall, high walls, blocks it. Cone jumps up, blocks a bunch of the angles. Hits the spray, nice angle, replaces, bang, dead. All right, he's just waiting for the mythic pump. The duckies are almost there. They've shot, and I think someone jumps on his head. Wait for it. He grabs the mythic pump. There we go. Yeah. So someone sprays on his head. See, in the same way there, where the guy was flying over his head with the overdrive grenade, Ark had absolutely no clue where he was, right? So again, if he'd shot him from a distance, bad, but instead you nade, then shoot every single time. Now, as you've noticed, he's boxed up and has no idea where he is, which means the other players actually got the doubles over him here. And what he does is very nice here. He gets his cone, and then he's about to get boxed in. Insta nice cone edit underneath. Beautiful defensive edit there to get himself away from this guy's pump shot. Pumped. Bang! 200. Like, ask yourself, if this happens to you, do you die? You're dead here. Nope. 200. Lovely. Coughing baby type shotgun as well in his inventory here too. Imagine jumping into a box, someone with a mythic, and they just one pump you with it, and you've got the gray maven. All right, firstly, you didn't hear it because I just paused. The way the Ark is able to find his next opponent, which is Twitter Frags here, is that he can hear him with the boots. Now, the boots have a massive visual audio range. I don't know what distance. I've drawn it here just to test. I don't know what the actual full distance is, but this is 105 meters. So in solos, if you're rotating with the boots at all, just know that your visual audio is so much further. I'm sure most people know that at this point, but he knows exactly where he is purely because of the fact that he just used the boots to rotate there. So unsurprisingly, he starts the fight in the exact same way. Instant nades, and then hits him with like a 50 with the spray. Goes a little crazy with the old piece. I think he's just kind of flexing off the rip. Similarly, he starts to approach the top, covering all the floors. So like just spamming, not even doubles this time, but like 3 floors to cover 3 exits, which means that if he's attacking this top, there's really no way this player underneath can side jump, right? A lot of the ways that the players are going to try and hit you from below is just like running under you and doing a side jump. But just by like spamming some floors in wood here, again, it's only wood, so it's not that expensive, but it also stops them from being able to do that as well. I also like this like spray down he does, where he just goes in the floor and then continues to spray to take the wall as well. It doesn't actually work, but very, very nice at the same time. Spends the time to reload, jumps up, edits through. He's already hit him for 50. So with like mythic pump and obviously like a pro aim, just like jumping in, genuinely not the worst play. Don't do that though. I like this setup, very similar. Every single time, notice he's been on a wall. He's been on a nice, like, right-hand setup. He just drops down, places a ramp. Similarly, this prevents him, the other player, from, like, getting up and doing, like, a shot here. Even blocks the right side with a single build. Allows him, if the player starts to, like, triple it through, he can place a wall here. And it's super cheap, right? A single ramp there. On top of that, this is, like, kind of awkward terrain because it's kind of low on, like, half on the floor. So by placing a ramp, it kind of gives him, like, a little bit less of awkward angles to fight from. Hits the wall, sprays through, and notice he can, like, swing right as he does this too. He can look over the ramp that he's placed, being very efficient. He can target multiple walls. Spends his time to continually reload. That's really good. In this meta where it's a lot of spray, it's a lot of SMG, it's a lot of pumping and walls and all this kind of stuff, he just spends his time to make sure he's actually reloaded. Right now, he's obviously lost for frags us, sees his legs, gets pumped for 50. Tries to go for the undershot. Again, spends the time to reload. Spots where frags is. Good damage through, of course, again. Now, ooh, that's a nice little shot actually from him. Kind of crazy. He almost dies. Sorry, I didn't mean to pause that there. Wrong clip. This is a long fight, so I actually want to see how frags got the damage off there. So, of course, he built the wood box, which, as we saw, was not a good play. I mean, he's really not got many hards left. Now, he can spray through the top. Bad timing to throw the nade. It just kind of didn't end up working that well. Very psycho play. This was very well timed, though, I will add, because Ark, at the same time, he sprayed through and he stopped spraying because he's run out of ammo. I think he ran out of ammo. I don't know if that was like a full clip, but just as he's finished spraying there, Ark is more than likely going to run at him with like pump out, maybe with like pickaxe out to try and get through. So just literally psychoing at him with a pump is not the worst play. Obviously, like he might just die here, but Ark's doing a good job pressuring him, so it's really hard for him to heal. Edits through underneath then and gets another shot. Kind of a shot, I'll be honest. So now Ark's created 2 boxes to heal from. Spend the time with his chugs. Frag's also going to heal up. I don't think he has the same kind of heals. I don't think he has like big. I think he's just popped minis. Trying to figure out where the opponent is. Similarly, jumps down, runs on a right. Jumps straight in. Circles right. We love the circle right. Now again, the reason the circle right is so good, obviously because you're just not giving the opponent a right-hand peek. Here, notice both players are doing it. Had Ark walked backwards there, he would walk into the right-hand peak of frags. If you watch my skill gap of movement video on my main channel, you'll know walking to the right, absolutely goated. In that scenario where you're just kind of running around there, of course, you're just continually denying a right-hand peek for the other player, but also setting one up for yourself. What a surprise. Let's see how he starts this fight off. Another overdrive grenade into spray with SMG. Insta ramp up and blocks the top. Lovely piece as well. Now, this is a really common scenario that happens where you double a player here. They just jump up and block the wall between you. This is one of the most common ways to actually block this. So one way that you can end up fighting, this is something DJ does to me the whole time, and it's actually really annoying because what players will do is they'll hold their builds out. So say in this scenario here, right? Say you're the player underneath. What you might do here is hold this wall to try and block. Now, Ark is already countering it, but the way that you counter this, and you can kind of catch the opponent off guard if you've already got them in the piece, is by standing where he is. Now, you'll notice that he's on the tile, so if the player places the wall here, he's just going to either be dropped like into this box here or not be blocked out, so he's always got the action available to do this. There's also kind of like a bad angle, as you can see. Like, there's not really a good shot for him to hit 1306 here with. So he's just edit, resetting, and jumping. And now this guy's pump blocked. You know, pump blocking, aka making sure. Well, I'm trying to think of. I'm trying to think of a better name. It's still a good name. Pump blocking. Once they've shot, there's a certain time before they can shoot again. So here, this guy's just pumped. I think this guy is trying to place the wall. I don't know what this guy's doing honestly now after he's pump blocked. It's absolutely maxed from that nice right hand peek. So you want to do what Ark's doing here and making sure your scroll wheel resetting. You're not just insta doubling, right? He's full pieced him. He's trying to bait out the shot. And you can also just wait for the opponent to show that they have their builds out, because that's when they're trying to like hold the wall, and then you can walk onto the tile, edit, and go for the shot. What a surprise. Nading and flying at him. Who would have thought that's the way you start every single fight? Nice piece. Tries to jump straight in. Same thing. He was holding the floor edit there as he was doing in the previous one. So just not doubling in. Replace. Could take his time to reload. Yep. I was just about to say. He's still got the HP advantage, but he's not jumping in. Lovely little... I know there's like a spray in. This looks like a super minor thing, but the way he sprays in here is so good. Notice how he sprays to the right. So he like sprays in and to the right. And this means that when he drops into that box... Well, rather than... I'll just actually show you instead of just telling you, right? So he sprays, and notice how he's facing backwards now, right? Obviously, he's looking at the opponent, right? The crosshair is like on the other guy. But he's also at the back of the box here, or at the side, so that he could see, right? If he just sprayed down in the middle, the player could go to his left, the player could go to his right here. But because he's walked all the way over to this side, he needs to turn one way, and then he has vision onto the whole box, right? From this corner, from this right corner, he can literally see everything. He knows everyone. So whatever this player does, if he goes this way, he knows it. If he goes this way, he knows it. So now, obviously, he can just spray in and keep his crosshair on them, and then doesn't actually manage to get in there. But the movement itself is really nice. Swings from the other side. A little bit of spray again. Takes his time to reload. He's barely used any mats, right? A lot of players are also super, like, material inefficient while they're doing this, too. Unfortunately, we got the server lag there, so I don't know how he actually killed him, unfortunately. But I did see him circling to the right. He nades... Oh, doesn't get the advantage this time. Again, a lot of piece. Ooh, very nice. Unfortunately, doesn't get the shot. And then gets the max. Very nice. So again, kind of similar. Flying through the sky. Doesn't get maybe does trade favorably. It's kind of the same pumps. Actually, sprays in. Lovely little window. I mean, this is like a perfect... Look at the crosshair placement, by the way. Like, his crosshair placement after editing the window is so good. This is one of the reasons why doing a middle window edit with a cone is so good, because you can basically still look where the opponent is. Like, if they're over here, you can keep your crosshair on them and do a middle window here instead, or vice versa at this side as well. Unfortunately, his crosshair placement is slightly too good. The problem with a middle window, I'm telling you the good things. The problem with a middle window, especially when you're on a cone, is that you basically can't shoot their head, as you just saw there, right? So, like, in order for you to actually shoot the head of this player, he has to be sitting at the front side of the box, or you need to be, like, right up against the wall here, which also means that you're probably going to be over-peaking a little from the window anyway. So, as much as, like, a middle window cone is amazing, difficult when you're on a cone. A lot of times it's better when you're on, like, under ramp or a half ramp or something like that. Yeah, I want to focus on the scroll wheel here, right? So he pumps and then scroll wheel resets, right? So in this scenario, if you're the other player, of course, he was trying to take a shot because he's actually got a good shot through the window, right? I've opened a Syrian for a second here to show you because I've messed up. I can't remember what it is. The fire rate of the pump, this is what I kind of wanted to explain a second ago with pump blocking, is 0.67 per second. So what this means is you can shoot 0.67 shots a second. I have my trusty calculator here. Already typed it, but I will do it again. 1 second, so you can shoot 0.67 shots a second. I'm not making a 6-7 joke. I just realized that was not the goal here. 1 divided by 0.67, and that is basically every 1.49, let's say every 1.5 seconds, which is probably what it actually is. So every 1.5 seconds you can shoot this pump if you just set and like click every single time. So here he's scroll resetted, now he's holding the wall and the opponent tries to pump. This guy actually tries to replace the wall. You can see he actually did a really good job of trying to pump and replace. Now that the opponent has shot here, Ark can do literally anything for 1.5 seconds and he will not get pumped. In this instance, that's why he does what is a particularly crap edit. If you watch my edit tier list, you'll see like the bottom left 4 is some cheeks. A horrible edit, a truly bad edit. But in this instance, it's actually the best edit. And that's because look what the other player does. He's aiming at Ark. You think, well, surely Ark will take damage here. But as we already know, he cannot use his pump shotgun. So the only thing that 333 can do here is spray at Ark, which sure he'll take some damage, but it can't be that much because he cannot pump him. The alternative here is that if Ark did a safe edit, so if he did like a really safe edit, say he did like a top right, and which would be a safe right and peak, when he takes out his SMG to spray, now this player could replace the wall. But because Ark has done a bad 50-50 edit instead, this means that now when he's using the SMG to spray, he cannot replace the wall. Or he has to like move his crosshairs. Crosshair's obviously not the right spot to do it. Which basically means the only thing this player is going to do is just shoot Ark back. So what does all of that mean? It means that Ark baited out the pump shot for 1.5 seconds. Then he did a bad edit, air quotes, and set up this perfect 50-50 where he has a completely safe pump shot where he's going to take maybe 30 damage. Bang! bang, and gets the kill. That's why a bad edit works sometimes. So this is true of the Chaos Ruler, because it had an even slower fire rate, but trying to bait out the opponent to hit a shot like this is literally one of the best strats you will see, because it's almost, I was going to say risk-free. It kind of is risk-free if you do it correctly, right? Bait out the shot, switch your pump, bang. A tail is all the time. Who would have thought scroller resetting is a good play in the big 26? I'm not sure this guy's cooking. Guy up on the hill. Good way to approach. He's just spraying, ramping, covering himself. Because at least I think from this guy, if he just edited, he's still not going to be able to see exactly where he is. Maybe he will. Either way, he's making it harder for this guy to see where he is as he's approaching. He's also trying to scout, right? He's trying to bait out this guy to see where he is as he approaches here. This guy... I don't know if this is his first time using the boots, but he's just zooming out, and we'll see for the rest of the fight. It looks like that. Lovely little right hand here, as you can see. Harder to hit the headshot from Deploy's POV here. His arc manages to get a corker of like a... Was that 100? Not sure. Spams a bunch of cones. Very nice. Pumps the walls. This is something also that with the Stinger SMG, very, very underrated, but a lot of the best players do a lot, where this wall is already pretty... He's just placed it. Obviously 150 HP if it's max built, but it's not because since he's just placed it. So the pump does... How much does the pump do? Let me double check because I still have a Syrian open here. Pump in mythic rarity. This is not the mythic one. Well, in gold anyway, where's the structure damage? 62. So it's not quite like a pickaxe swing, but that still is a pump to the wall, which allows you to spray through faster. Of course, then you can't shoot your shotgun for another 1.5 seconds after that, as we already know. That allows him to get into the box faster here. Pickaxes the wall. And honestly, he has some nice little piece here. But that might be the lowest pump shot I've ever seen with the mythic. But yeah, still pump the wall if you're trying to spray through. Allows you to get into a box much faster because you can shoot it from further away than you would be able to with a pickaxe swing. But again, you got to make sure you're reloaded. Don't try and pump right after that in the next 1.5 seconds. This is really nice. Nades up, sprays at the wall. Now he sees this guy's obviously eddying out his top, trying to escape. There's a couple of plays you can make from here. Of course, because arc is on the floor. So like this isn't a particularly good position, obviously, if you're trying to like someone's above you because you can't like jump up and do anything in particular. The way he does this is really nice. He just spams walls like this and then places 2 ramps to the left. So by jumping up and to the left here in particular, I mean, I don't know if he read this because of the cone. I doubt he read the cone edit particularly. Like your brain don't work that fast. But most people are going to come out and to the right because it gives them a right-hand peek, right? So like if you run and edit out your box, as I said before, like the way this guy's looking, this guy, I don't want to say this guy made a good play. What is this guy's inventory, by the way? Okay, I was going to say this guy made a good play, but look at who he's fighting right now. Come on. Why are you on 160? Anyway, I've got a lot of questions about how this guy's playing this game, but we're talking about how Ark played this game. You can see he edits and he jumps out and to the right. Like this is a good way because a lot of players here will jump and place this wall to block you, right? So by going up and out and to the right here, like this guy did, you create a right-hand peak over this wall. But Ark has already countered that by jumping up and placing walls to his left. This means then he just runs through, ramp, cones, bang, and he's dead. Outside of not popping a big pop for whatever reason, let's see what this looks like from his opponent's POV. He's scouting through going. By the way, just don't be this greedy. Pop your big. Really nice play. But he dies. So he nades, flies towards, little spray, high walls, full box, insta kills. All right, now you may notice there's 53 people still alive. Is this the 5th zone, the 4th zone? What game is that? The 4th zone. Yeah, the replay's still bugged. Replay's bugged. Put damage in replays at Epic Games. It's bugged. Can't see damage, can't see zones. There's a lot of bugs. I've sent my sheep. Anyway, the way he sets up here is very nice. You see, Court B is up here, doing something very similar to what he was before, right? He was below, he's up, he's spraying up into the wall here. He spray. And now he puts a cone here to make sure that this player can't like edit and cone out, right? You can see from his POV, he knows what's going on. And then runs to the side, blocks that angle off, and then blocks both walls. I think he also placed all the walls behind him here. He should have. Yeah, he did. Okay. He placed all the walls behind him. So now he's like fully protected. So again, because there's so many players around and he's getting like third party and sprayed and all this kind of stuff. It's not really anyone at this angle, to be honest, now that I look at it. But anyway, there's a lot of players around, so he can be third party. So you don't just want to be like standing on a wall doing nothing. So he's now got this really nice setup where he's blocked off this wall from the other player. He's weakened it as well, which gives this guy's the heebie-jeebies. And then he's got 2 bases that he can work from here. And he has a nice right-hand peek onto this wall, so he's obviously going to start attacking this one. He spends his time to make sure he's not getting sprayed and third-partied, and then he just waits. I like that. He reloads. Like, the time he's sitting spending reloading is still doing something, because he's the time he's spending... What am I trying to say here? When he's... I don't know. He's reloading his pump. That's all I know. Really nice block. Bang. And now he does trade. The trade isn't bad because, let's be honest, firstly, if you're a pro and you got a mythic pump and you're on a pretty decent angle, I mean, it's not really, it's kind of just an entire 50-50. The likelihood is you're going to be like better off than he is. So he just gets a nice pump and then jumps through and gets the kill. So he runs up, slides up the ramp, hits the wall, goes to the right, full boxes, takes his time to make sure he reloads. Bang. Good shot. Jump through. Insta kill. All right. Another very nice C-lip. He jumps on. This guy tries to go for the shot. Notice how he jumps up here? Now, you probably didn't notice what he just did there. I know you probably did because you're not a noticer like I am. But do you not notice the camera angle looks a little close? You know, he looks a little... I'm not going to say the character looks a little fat. That's not what I mean. It looks a little close. And that's because as he jumped up there, he placed a ramp over his head. Now, this is very similar to the way that he was fighting before. Of course, when he approached... Where was the box that you fought? I don't know where that box is that you fought earlier. There it is. There you go. Sorry, it's right there. You know, he placed all these boxes to protect himself. He rotated from the side, and then as he jumped over, he jumped onto the floor and then placed the ramp on his head in case another player sprayed him from behind. So he's just blocked off one very nice angle simply with this nice little ramp over his head. Very, very good. Now he's paying good attention to the opponent is. And now look at the movement here, by the way. He's in the box. He has 100 HP advantage. He takes out the SMG, but the opponent takes out his pump. Well, he did for a second until he... I think he's holding the ramp now, right? This guy's in the box. And look, he swings to the left. He swings to the left, which makes the opponent miss because he's also gone behind this edit, right? He was behind the ramp, and now he's behind this edit as well. So he completely blocked what the other player's doing just by swinging to the left. Lovely wall grab. I mean, the speed to do that whilst also, like, pulling the pump. Very nice. Edits, goes through, little full piece. Jumps up into the side, whips out the pickaxe, and he tries to get in very fast. Blocks, instinctively blocks that angle because it's a right-hand peek. Like, the speed to do that, I'll show you this in 100% speed in a second. It's crazy. Instinctively, because that was a right-hand peek, so he blocks it. Runs through. Full box. This guy is standing there with his pickaxe, looking like Picasso with a pencil out, trying to draw. So in full speed, such a nice kill. Jumps over. What a bang, by the way. Swings over to the left. Very nice. Takes the wall. Jumps up. Really nice jump over to the side. Good feint. Blocks the attempt to run out. Gets the full piece. Bang. There's a lot of other nice movement tech here. So you can see starts. Takes the wall. A little bit of server lag or replay lag. Is it replay lag or is that... Yeah, it's replay lag. This wall is not fully built, but it looks like it is. Holding the pump out, and then he does something really nice, right? What would you do a lot in this situation, right? A lot of players here would sit and go, maybe I just spray this wall, try to replace it. It's kind of a weird angle. But that is not what Ark does. He just swings to the left, crouches. I don't know if the crouch is really necessary. I guess you can kind of see round this corner if you crouch here. But from his perspective, he's completely hidden. He's sitting there, cannot be hit at all, and now Vaxify is just pumped. So now he can swing back out, hits the shot for like 100, because of course it's the mythic pump. Sprays through the wall, tries to replace, doesn't get it, and then does a very, very nice play. I don't know how many shots he had in his pump right here, but notice the position that he's standing. Yet again, very good awareness. They basically just stand right behind the cone. So I think his head's visible. Yeah, his upper body's visible, but this is a really hard shot to hit. In particular, like, what edit is like Vax really going to do from here, right? He might do a top row, which is entirely 50-50. By the way, these guys are both wearing the same skin. That's funny. Again, as we also already know, it's really difficult to hit someone through a middle window from where Vax is standing from earlier in the video, because how are you meant to hit? I mean, you can, let me say, I was gonna say you can hit this, but there's a high probability that you're gonna hit your own wall and break it, as we already saw earlier. So what Ark does is just sitting and look at the actual angle, right? Because he's deeper down the back of the cone, he has a much better shot. Maybe like the headshot slightly cut off different, way more visibility. So he just plays pumps out, walks back, pumps, and then also has the wall to reset there because he's moving backwards. Now some very, very small mechanical tech here that I really like. He gets the cone, blocks the top here. I don't really know why I didn't cone in the other player's box. Maybe it's because he's in wood, so he's trying to spray him down. Places the wall. That's fine. But this is also like a very awkward angle where do you want to like tarp up here? Like, how'd you get up into this tile? So he just places a ramp, a wall, and then jumps up, and he's got a full tarp here. Something very, very minor, but I feel like it's very common for players to get stuck in like a half tile down below. So just, you know, covering the ramp over the head to make sure you don't get shot in the back, wall on the side to block that angle, and then a floor to cover yourself. Every single fight has some tech, right? He just boxes up a little, sees this guy next to him, sprays through, gets the cone in. Very, very nice. But there's not the thing that's nice here. Does replace the wall. This guy tries to pre-fire pump him. Yeah, that's like the most minimum shot I've seen so far. After he's pumped, he resets. But did you see what he just did? Like, he just full boxed himself as he scroll wheel reset and held the wall there. Fully protect himself from every angle and then runs through and just kills him. Like, look at this, full speed. So nice. Cone in, fully boxed himself and kills him. Like, he's not even worrying about the other player that's out of the wall. He's too busy protecting himself. That's really nice. They're a fun one. He's also tagged Kaden up above here, so he's already got him a little weak. Just sprays the wall. As soon as this guy edits out, switches to his pump, and just bang. Honestly, not that good of a play, but it's just funny. He's got mythic pump. There's things you could do when you got mythic pump and really good aim that other people just can't. All right, there's one thing you should learn from this video is that you should be good at spraying, ADSing whilst flying with... maybe I should put something in the training hub for that. That's actually a good drill to put in the training hub. I mean, you could probably use some of the aim training scenarios in there anyway, because you can use the nades. Use it if you want to get good at aim, by the way. Flying, ADSing whilst aiming. Look at this. 150, 160 or something like that. And look at the slide over too. We'll check that back in a second. Ramps over and slide, so he's on the other side of the player's box now. So as I was busy talking about this, I wanted to highlight the slide he did here. It looked intentional, right? So here, this other player boxes, right? I don't know if he meant to like put the ramp over his head, as we've seen a few times here. No, he definitely didn't. There's no way he did. So he ramp and then slid over the top and then boxed on the other side. Now, you might ask why he would do that. But it's because there's like, what, a couple people here, and then the vast majority of the lobby is still like to rotate behind him. So if he ends up like boxing on this side, he can get focused and fought from there. However, by like going over and to the top, he has a much better angle to then still wall replace and fight from. As you can see, he drops down, jumps in. Again, notice how he jumps in to the right. He jumps in fully to the right, similar to before, because this gives him access and visibility, right? By being here, he jumped in and to the right here, so you can see that from his POV now. All he needs to do is look one direction, which is to his left, and he can see the entire box. A lot of players make that mistake of jumping in the middle. So jump in to the right, and then, yeah, he kills now. Another very easy kill. This guy's just built spray. Nice floor to block his top in case this guy actually went through, by the way. Like, the angles this guy blocks is so good. Outside of that, yeah, he just sprayed him with a gold SMG. One thing I do want to highlight after this kill, though, is the importance of making 2 boxes. So here, he breaks through and creates 2 boxes rather than just the one. Of course, you know, he could just make the one or whatever, right? But as you notice, then when the other player starts to get onto his wall, who's on the left, if it happens in any time soon, there we go. So this guy's like got a ramp or edit the cone if he's going to ramp in. But now that he's got 2 boxes, he has the ability just to back up into one here rather than trying to like turn around and edit to get out or to have to like run back into this. He can just walk back into the other box, which is here. And of course, he has a bunch of extra max, so, you know, creating a bunch of space doesn't cost him really anything here. And then pretty simple, this guy's pickaxing through. He resets the cone, edits to the bottom right, because this guy's set up truly horribly. Absolute bang. What is this guy doing, by the way? And then just free kill. I will be honest, most of this endgame has just been him sitting on height spraying with the SMG. He got like 4 kills so far. None of them are interesting at all, I will be honest. As you can see, he's still on height, and it is now a 1v1. And I think it's probably just going to be the secure the win with the SMG, maybe? No, he's actually dropping down. Okay, let's see how he plays it. Spray, chopping him out. This guy's down to wood, so he's probably not got many mats left. Onto height, SMG again. Nice sidewall. Ooh, toe shot through. Very nice. Arc is crazy. If you enjoyed the video, like the video, subscribe. Trying to get 100k on this channel. Awesome. Peace. Bye.